My lovelies, it is Ethany and welcome back to Oracle of the Wednesdays. We are here to pick your cards for the week of the 6th of November to the 12th of November. Can you believe how fast, fresh, feminine, fierce, quickly, ferocious, I can't run out of F's. That's also a good one too. This year is running by. It is running so quickly. It's like its pantaloons are on fire. We are in the last 8 weeks of the year. Gosh, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over those cameras. I'm going to show you the piles of cards. You're going to select which one your little heart, your inspiration, your intuition is called to. You're going to come on back. Look at this mug, and she is going to tell you what messages are for you this week. So without further ado, and me being a right silly bugger, let's go and pick a pile of cards. Okay, lovely ones, it's now time to pick your pile of cards. I want you to ask your guides or your inner self, what do I need to hear today? What message do I have inside myself that needs to be heard? What guidance can I receive for the week? And pick your pile. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And I recommend that you write down what pile you select so that you don't forget when we go over to your messages revealed. And let's do that now. Alrighty, Aphrodite, before I begin, if you want to know a little bit more about all of the decks that I use this week, make sure you watch until the end as I'm going to go through each one of them for you. I am living for this, is it plaid? Love it. Something about Canadian autumns and plaid. I just want to wear all of the plaid. All of the plaid. Okay, so apparently I say this like every week. Someone needs to tell me. I probably do say this every week. I'm in a really silly mood. It's because I like to get, high vibe and energy and have lots of energy for you all. Okay, so group number 1, your cards this week are the 3 of Earth. Looks like a really beautiful day to me, that one. The Page of Wands. And Compassion. Alrighty, so your message for this week is a little bit of a self-care call out, but in a really nice way. Life gets really busy. We're about to head into one of the busiest times of the year. People get very, very stressed. People get very, very stressed. They get very, overwhelmed, and little things tend to start to slip, especially when it comes to self-care. And then what can happen is we go into the self-care, which I'm super guilty of. So when I pull these cards, I was like, oh, maybe it's reading me to filth. We get into this sort of self-care, which is kind of like patching things up. It becomes a band-aid. It becomes something where we just eat the treats that make us feel good in the moment, or we go on a bit of a shopping thing and we get a few things that make us feel happy in the moment. We do those sort of patchwork things where it's not really addressing, that is really annoying my OCD-ness. It's not really doing a lot to activate our mind-body-soul connection, and we're not really reaching out to other people and forming good connections and community. So much of what we do is online. I mean, now you're watching me online, whether you're seeing this via my email, via Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. This is what happens. We start to interact online. So this week you're going to be challenged, and I'm going to issue the challenge to you. Well, the cards really have, but through me, has issued a challenge of being compassionate with yourself about how maybe you've let some self-care stuff slip, especially anything with that Page of Wands that really sparks that inner joy and taking care of your inner child, and gather the people around you who are really good for you, that 3 of Earth, that expansion of community. And these are the people that make your heart sing, and get your finest brew of teas, your finest cup of coffee, if you like to do that. You can do things like journaling together, do readings together, knit together, craft together, If that's not your thing, go see a comedy show together, go for a walk. That is completely free to go for a walk. Just spend some time, even having a space where it's like, all we're going to do is light a candle, and we're going to have a talking stick or a talking cauldron or whatever it may be. And I'm just going to give and hold space for my friends to talk. And yeah, sure, do things like paint nails and do a mud mask and all those beauty things too. Have a glass of wine, whatever it may be for yourself. But making sure it goes beyond the surface and a little bit more soul deep, especially that this Page of Wands is like really the little inner child, our little inner the Peter Pan in us all that doesn't want to grow up, the little fairy imp, so maybe like one of the things that I did in October, which was so much fun, was dress up really witchy like and go to high tea with two of my really good friends here in Vancouver. I realize that is not something that everyone can do, but maybe everyone brings their favorite biscuit or cookies, or someone makes finger sandwiches, and you do high tea in your own house and you all dress up, or you put glitter on and you go out and you dress up like fairies and you go for a hike in nature. Just something that is going to reignite that sort of inner child for you, and do something that if you have people around you that are really good for your soul, working with them. Maybe you go do a Zumba class together or a meditation class or something like that. Looking at how you can build community or just be around the people that are really good for your soul, and really good for yourself, that are going to help you be compassionate and loving and sharing those great things. Start a book club, go to an old person's home and go spend some time with them. Take your puppy there and give them a little bit of love. Just like reaching out to that community and doing what you can to foster connection this week with people versus disconnection and disharmony. Something that I did, and I've spoken about this many times, but I don't think I've done it recently. So here we go. One of the things I did when I worked in the corporate world was I took an oracle deck to work, and in my team we would pick an oracle card at morning prayers, which we just call morning prayers, where we would like check in with each other and have a morning meeting really quickly, and we'd pick a card and everyone would put that card on their keyboard or right in front of their monitors for the day. And it was just a really nice way to bring the team together. And then the larger HR group started doing it, and then I sent the same deck to different cities, other teams in different cities, to have them start doing it. And it was just a really lovely way to start the day, and it fostered community. It fostered us talking about what was going on for us and how we can embrace the card of the day. And that was done in a corporate environment. Yes, you may not be able to do that, but exact same thing. But even just looking at a little thing like that for this week. Fostering connections. Talk to somebody new in your workplace, or if you see someone sitting alone at lunchtime, invite them over to sit with you. Little things can go a long way. I know it's not super easy if you are not extroverted like myself, but even if you get your extroverted friend to go and do it for you, you just get the person in your group that's like me. There's always one. All right. Group number 2, your cards for this week are the moon, my stars. This is just, Joanna does the most beautiful artwork. The 3 of Wands with our Babbage's tiles. Oh, it did, didn't it? It went like for a split second. And Intuition is our final card. Look at that, eyes wide open. And your message this week, my delightful number 2s, my delightful group number 2, is that your intuition is not wrong. You are not wrong. You are not going cuckoo bananas. You are not, even if people don't necessarily agree with like how you've been feeling, you are not wrong. Your intuition is not wrong. Your gut is not wrong. Your instinct is not wrong. So if you've been feeling like something or someone is a little off, there is a reason for it. Now, I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, everything is like, like set it on fire and like run away. It's just more like just being really in tune with your compass. Trust yourself and your ability to know what path, what choices are right for you. Your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities, whatever you want to call it, are always expanding and growing. So it may feel a little alien at first if a new Claire is coming on board, or if you're getting new messages in a new way, or things are developing quickly. But the more you act on those hunches and the more you honor those hunches, and even if you just say, I acknowledge that message is coming through, and then do what you can when you can, the more clear those messages are going to become, and the easier it is going to be to act on them, no matter how much somebody else is saying to you that it may not be right, or like, why are you doing what you're doing? The other thing in that is it's going to help you long term. So the Three of Wands is often about this long term. Did we have 2 threes? Oh, we did. We have the three of Earth, the Three of Pentacles, and the other one. That's an expansion of spirit. So that is you growing and leveling up. And because I'm a big dorky geeker gamer, I always see it as like I'm leveling up to the new level in my spirituality, and I'm just going into a new level of the game that is life. And yes, there's going to be a new boss at the end of it, and yes, there's going to be new challenges, and I'm going to have to face new shadow stuff, but I get new abilities too every time I expand my abilities and my horizons, and it's going to help me long term. I may not always see the results of that short term, but it does come. So here's the other thing with this message. If you feel as though your connection to your inner knowing has been cut off or blocked, take the time. I get this all the time from people. I'm not hearing anything, I'm not seeing anything, I feel like my guides and are not talking to me. Take the time this week to go take a salt bath, go jump in a lake. If you're in Canada, may the force be with you. Do a salt bath or a salt scrub or an aura cleanse or a smudge, however you choose to do that for yourself. And then do a short 5-minute meditation to reset your connection this week. And that is as simply as seeing a beam of white light coming from the universe all the way down, and like going into your energy bodies and going back around into a circlet. There are lots of different meditations. I have blog posts on energetic hygiene. I have 2 blog posts which are with a bunch of information on there too. Cut some cords. Really, if you want that, if you do want that, those blog post links, I will put them in the description below. And if I haven't, bug me, I'll do it. If you're watching this on YouTube, send me a DM. I will send you those links directly. If you're getting this via email, send me in a message. I will send them to you directly. Just go take some time to reset that, reconnect that, because it's not always going to be on all the time. Sometimes shit is happening and you are really required to be here now in the mundane word doing the work. So just take a little bit of time this week to reset that connection. It doesn't need to take forever. It's not something that you need to like disconnect from life and ignore your responsibilities and obligations and your goals. It's just like a little reset. I hear that all the time. So if you're having trouble with that, if you're really struggling with that, please message me. I will send that to you. Not a problem. I have a ton of resources. So I love getting questions, people saying, what can I do here? Especially if you've been feeling a little disconnected. Okay, that brings us to group number 3, pile number 3. Your first card this week is Bindweed, which in the more traditional, like Rider-Waite Smith, is the Devil card. The 7 of Swords, which is actually one of my favorite cards. No, you've got photos of this on social media, so you'll be able to see them better. And Illusion. So you could probably guess with those 3 what some of your message is going to be like. Now let's position this properly so that it does not slip. There is no real good way to sugarcoat this week for you all. Feeling trapped sucks. You may, like that bindweed is literally binding you. It's a weed. It's something that is not wanted. It is an alien sort of species binding you. Feeling trapped sucks balls. Maybe you feel like you're stuck in a rut, or maybe your workplace has become a golden cage or a shitty rusty cage with half a door hanging off, but it feels like a cage anyway. Maybe you feel you've been yearning for a change from a routine that you feel stuck in, or a role that you've created for yourself, or even the people that you are around all the time. So your message this week is to take heed of those desires that want to change, or that calling from your body that you are stuck in some way, shape, or form. Because if you don't address them, you are likely to make a massive destructive choice that will have long-lasting and potentially irreversible consequences. So what I mean by that is, if you are saying, this doesn't feel right, I'm bored, I'm trapped, I'm whatever, I'm drowning, I'm like, whatever, I'm stuck, I feel like I'm, whatever that is for yourself, if you don't take heed of those red flags that often start as a little whisper, as a little inkling, that get louder and louder, either subconsciously you're going to make a decision, or lots of little decisions that end you making decisions that you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I can't get that person back, or I've made a mistake that I can't take back. I'm having some like massive crisis. I went out and bought some, cheesy sports car, whatever it may be for you. It's not always going to be the same thing, right? But you're going to make these choices because you didn't heed the small warnings and make decisions and intercept that like kind of like that road, that crash that you're seeing coming. It is totally not too late to kind of do this and go your own way and adjust things. If you feel as though things have been taken from you all the time, if you feel as though you are not yourself in the situations that you're in, this is a time to get yourself unstuck. Identify the illusions in your life. What is missing? What need is not being addressed? What need is not being fulfilled? Write that shit down and then do something about it. That is the biggest call this week. Do something about it. No more complaining. Take action. Even if it's a small step, it is a step forward. It is something that you're going to be doing to move. And what I like, I love everything about the guy in tarot, but those crows up on that line, it's like the birds telling you, toot toot, there was a truck, telling you that there is something wrong, there is something out of alignment, and often we know what it is. And you don't need to have these big, huge, dramatic changes in order for things to get back on track again. Often it's just that bullshit that we put in front of ourselves, and these like expectations and all that kind of stuff that's really not all that helpful. So those are your messages this week, my absolute loves. Let's go through what decks I have used for the week. The first one is the Gaian Tarot. Now I'm very, very fortunate, all the cards went, I'm very fortunate to have both versions of this deck. This is the Schiffer Red Feather one. This is by the unbelievably talented Joanna Powell Colbert, who had the Herbalist Tarot come out this year, and it's been one of my favorites of the year. It's going to be very hard to pick my favorites. This was reprinted in 2016. It is a beautiful, oh my gosh, the trucks out there are being so rude. It has a beautiful box. This one actually stays in the box, in this box on my bookshelf. It has a lovely full color book with a ton of information. I love the book. They are big cards, as you saw there. Some people are not super in love with the card size, and it does have silver. I've seen a few people like trim, and it looks really, really good, but you do lose the silver. But I mean, everything about this is pretty stunning. The artwork is very, very modern. It is just a divine deck. So the Emperor is the builder. As you can see, it's a very modern. The Magician is so beautiful. I love that there are people of all ages, all body shapes. I have a unboxing of this deck on my channel. I did it a few years ago, actually, when this came out. So gorgeous. Oh, this strength. Her artwork is so stunning. So I adore her, and I adore this work. This is so Moana, hey? Ugh, the grandmother. I want to be that grandmother. Just like with the manta rays. Oh, that movie makes me cry every single time. Just makes me cry for so many reasons. It's just so beautiful. Okay, the second deck we have the Sacred Power reading cards by Rockpool Publishing and it's by Anna Stark, published by Rockpool Publishing. This apple is everything. It's so pretty. I have an unboxing of this as well on my channel. Like I said, I've really been enjoying using more than one deck with my Oracle Wednesdays because it's really allowing me to kind of go into the stores of my decks and show you all these decks in working with them. I now want to get a cuddle from my son who's at school. Just go run into the school. I need a cuddle. That'd be so embarrassing for him, wouldn't it? He's still thankfully not at that age where mum is like not the most embarrassing thing ever. Oh, so gorgeous. The artwork is so pretty. Lovely. So standard Rockpool cardstock, they are bigger. I don't mind that. They shuffle really, really well. I have a buttload. I have a lot of Rockpool decks. Oh gosh. The artwork in this is just everything. It's vivid and it's just so beautiful. And the third one is my Bad Bitches Tarot tiles that Jamie Sawyer from the Sawyer's Path Tarot made for me, and she makes me lots of beautiful things. This is, you've seen this before on my channel, so she made this for me. I wanted to use the tiles as something a little bit different, but the second edition of the Bad Bitches Tarot is here. They finally arrived on Thursday night. Yeah, Halloween. They arrived on Samhain to my door, and I spent all Samhain evening boxing them up. They still have the rose gold stamp on the box. The box, we've chosen different cardstock. It still has the rose stamp back, but we have some image changes in the deck and cardstock changes. So you can order them from my website, ethany.com, which is very exciting. And I'm going to be releasing if you do order it from my website, you will be getting access to, I'm trying to find a different, one of the changes we made. It's not working out for me. How to Read Tarot Like a Bad Bitch is a free course that you are going to get access to. It is published on the 13th of, there we go, here's a new one. The 13th of November of this month, so next week. A new one as well. So I am really happy that they're here. Finally get to go out to everybody, and it's, you know, one of my babies. So those are the decks this week. I hope you have a very magical week. I hope you get to reconnect either with your community, with your intuition and your guides, or take action on those illusions. Many blessings to you all, and I will see you all next time.